What's good, YouTube? How y'all doing out there? It's your boy Jeremy from Smith Family TV, and today we have 5 times that Michael Jordan. I don't want to say what is it? 5 times Michael Jordan sought revenge. That's what it was. My bad, y'all. I'm thinking I got other videos that I'm supposed to react to later on in mind, and I'm spewing them out. But anyways, everything you need to know will be in the description box below. I'm butchering my intro. I hate when I do this because I'm not finna re-record it. But let's get it started before I mess up again. I'll say what I need to say at the end.
Just get out of here. Bring come on, man.
Shout out to Cosgrove Production.
Paul, are you okay?
You should have left them on the street where you found them.
Get off me, man. Right out here, huh? The murder. Get him out of here. Get him out of here. Move out. Get him out of here. Get him out of here, brother.
Now, you knocked him down. Why don't you try knocking me down now?
Tommy gun only fights in the ring. Get out of here.
My ring's outside.
Yeah? Let's do it. Come on.
There's nothing like some good old revenge. It leaves you with a satisfying feeling, like you're on top of the world. And Michael Jordan certainly has had his fair share of that experience. When you tick him off or provoke him in any way, he turns psychotic. Once you poke the bear, it's too late. You better believe he's going after you.
You motherfuckers will be playing basketball
And Pelican Bang when I get through.
I'm the man up in this piece. King Kong
Ain't got shit on me.
So sit back and relax as we go through some of the best Michael Jordan revenge stories. Contrary to popular belief, Jordan does have the ability to get along with his opponents. He didn't feel like being intense all the time. Playing golf was his go-to off-the-court activity, and didn't mind if a player wanted to tag along. But that hospitality wasn't fooling Jeff Van Gundy. Van Gundy said that MJ would befriend his opponents, making them think that he's a nice guy, just to gain a competitive advantage.
His way is to
Jimmy
befriend them, to soften them up, make them feel like he cares about them, and then he goes out there and physically tries to destroy them.
And if Van Gundy thought that he could get away with that without any consequences, he was wrong. He made those comments the day before his New York Knicks were about to play the Chicago Bulls, and the next morning, his quotes were all over the Chicago newspaper, and that's when Jordan saw what he said, and that only gave him extra motivation to go out there and destroy. It was January 21st, 1997, Knicks visiting Chicago. Once the ball was thrown up in the air, it was time for some sweet revenge. Michael had a personal vendetta for Van Gundy.
He shot less than 40%. Jordan gets his first of the night.
I think he felt he got pushed a little bit.
Michael Jordan with the assist, and then he glanced over at the New York bench at Jeff Van Gundy. Fourth quarter, 1:10 to go. Jordan in the post over Houston. Jordan jawing with Jeff Van Gundy.
Jordan was cursing at Jeff Van Gundy during the entire game.
Jordan with 49. Jordan now has 51.
That's wild.
And he is screaming at Jeff Van Gundy.
MJ ended the game with 51 points, doing exactly what he planned to do. He was
That's a cold killer right there. I don't debate this no more. Like I said, at the end of the day, everybody know my top 3 revolves around the 3 people we talk about all the time. Mike, Kobe, Bron. In that order. And Mike just different, bro. I'm sorry. He's just different.
Unstoppable, but he wasn't done yet. It was said that immediately after the game, he ran to find Jeff Van Gundy once again and continued to curse him out in the tunnel. Then, Van Gundy tried to backtrack what he said during a post-game interview.
What's that now? I couldn't hear you.
regret saying some of the things throughout the course of the week about Michael Jordan.
I didn't say anything this week about it.
What did you say to him after that last basket?
Some choice words.
That's good, Bap.
Clean version?
Now, you would think that Karl would learn from Van
I know I just paused like 3 times in a row, but I don't like him. I'm sorry. So this story right here is hands down a blessing. I don't like him.
Gundy's mistake, considering this matchup was only 1 week after that Knicks game.
You know, a few weeks ago, Nick coach Jeff
Amar Rashad.
in effect called Michael Jordan a con man. He reacted with a 51-point game. Well, this week, as you've seen in the pregame, George Karl said Michael Jordan was playing as if he didn't want to get hurt. I asked Michael about that, and he said George Karl is just playing mind games.
As you just heard right there, earlier that week, as George Karl's Supersonics were getting ready to face the Bulls, he said that Michael Jordan basically became a jump shooter in order to avoid getting hurt while driving to the hoop. And he went on to say that Jordan changed his game because he could no longer fly to the basket for dunks, and that he was holding back in order to protect himself in the later stages of his career. The air has gone out of Jordan's game,
That's
and
wild.
Michael did not hesitate to quickly respond. Quote,
See, he just be saying dumb
I'm not scared to go anywhere on the court. When teams give me the jump shot, I'll take it. If they take away the lanes, I'll go for the jump shot. And Ron Harper had some advice for Karl. If I was Coach Karl, I'd be quiet. To say anything about Michael's game
This
is
is what you're doing.
ridiculous.
This
Even though
is what I want
Michael
you to do.
did get his point across verbally, you know he wasn't finished with George Karl yet. It was February 1st, 1997, about 8 months after the Bulls defeated Seattle in the 96 finals. And right out of the gate, instead of falling for the trap and driving to the basket like Coach Karl wanted, Jordan did the exact thing Karl was talking about: shoot multiple jump shots. MJ was on fire, even shooting a half-court shot right in front of George Karl.
Across the midcourt line. Michael Jordan from midcourt.
Dang! As Cash Nasty say, what? Like, whoa!
Jordan continued to dominate with his jump shot all night long, making Coach Karl feel stupid for ever opening
He
his
letting
mouth.
that thing
Karl had
go.
made the comments that Michael Jordan may be becoming too much of a jump shooter. Well, here's a jump shot on a little hesitation move over Hersey
Oh, yeah.
Hornets, and just
Talk
a
to him.
little look over towards the bench and backing up to say, there's your jump shot.
Eventually, it was getting ridiculous. Jordan could not be stopped, as he ultimately ended the game with 45 points.
Michael, now, the statements by George Karl saying that you're trying not to be hurt, was that motivation for you today?
You know, I think Karl, what he's saying is, more or less trying to get me to go to the hole. I'm going to shoot my jump shot. Defense will give me the jump shot. I'm going to take it. If they want to let me go to the hole, open up the lane. I go to the hole.
After the game, Ron Harper commented again, saying, I'm surprised the coaches don't learn. Every time they say something about Michael, it hurts their team.
Yes, it does.
Well, this next coach, John Calipari, actually did learn to keep quiet. He saw what happened to the last 2 coaches and wanted none of that. We all
Coach Cal ain't one of us,
are aware that MJ and the 98 Bulls were determined to complete their second three-peat, and their first opponent in the 98 playoffs were the New Jersey Nets, with John Calipari as their head coach. The first 2 games of the series were close, but Chicago found a way to get both victories, and they only needed to win 1 more game to sweep the Nets. Since this was back when the first round was the best of 5, New Jersey went into Game 3 believing that they had a great chance to win this one, considering they were so close to winning the other 2 games. But when you're facing a man that literally makes up scenarios in his head in order to just find anything that will fuel him, you're probably in trouble. You see,
I
Coach
wanna get like
Calipari
that at some
didn't
point.
necessarily do anything wrong in this particular instance. He didn't say a single word to or about Jordan, but he didn't have to. It was just the way he coached that rubbed Jordan the wrong way. Michael said he found it very annoying that John Calipari was always screaming towards his players at the top of his lungs, running up and down the court. He thought he was overdoing it with his sideline antics, and said that he doesn't know how the Nets players deal with him. Well, it looked like Jordan found his reason to go ahead and torch them. He went with it and never looked back.
I got that clip in my
Here's
phone.
Jordan left open for the three, and he's got it. Michael Jordan. He has been a potent weapon for the Bulls against the Nets this year. Jordan working against Kittles. Gets Kittles in the air, and Jordan hits. Patented Michael J. 4 fouls. Jordan coming around a Rodman screen hits. Michael Jordan now with 36 points. He's hardly missed from the field.
Major striking distance here, and like we say, they play in peaks and valleys.
Michael Jordan, very difficult shot, falling away toward the baseline.
Michael finished off the Nets with 38 points, and later after the game, John Calipari said this about Jordan's death stare, quote, "I didn't stare back. There was one thing I would never do as a coach. Say anything to Michael Jordan. Not one word. If he wants to stare at me, I'm not going to say anything to him." Man, no matter what you do, you're never really safe. But this next player was literally asking for it. It was 1994, during Michael Jordan's baseball days. Brian Russell, who was a member of the Utah Jazz, was preparing to play Chicago in an upcoming game. So the night before, he went to go work out, and that's when he saw Michael Jordan with his baseball trainer and thought it was the perfect opportunity to introduce himself. So he went up to MJ and said, "Why'd you quit? Why did you retire? I really wanted to get the chance to guard you and defend you, because I know I can stop you."
Dumbass motherfucker.
And Jordan just laughed it off and acted like he wasn't even bothered. But we all know Michael made sure to remember what he said. Now fast forward to 1996, Jordan was back in the league, and when he played Utah, he was well aware that Russell would be there. And right before the jump ball, he turned to Russell and said, "Remember back in 94? You're about to get your chance."
Oh, what a move by
That was so sick.
Little right, little left. What a show, and they love it here in Utah.
Watch Michael's move.
Watch this. Whoop. Where'd he go?
Hit him with the, hey!
Poor Brian Russell, that broke his ankles.
And ever since, Brian Russell had a huge bullseye on his back, as MJ made an effort to go after him every single time they played each other. Now fast forward again a couple years later, Jordan could practically taste his 6th championship, as he would get a chance to take the lead after stripping the ball from Malone. And would you look at that, Michael couldn't ask for a better guy to guard him. Russell claimed that Jordan obviously pushed off.
No, sir. He just hit him with
But at the end of the day, there was nothing he can do about it. Many years later, at the tail end of MJ's Hall of Fame speech, he talked a little bit about Brian Russell and said this.
Believe me, I relished on that point, and from this day forward, if I ever see him in shorts, I'm coming at him.
And Russell took that as a challenge.
How's it going for you? Good. Just making sure I stay in somewhat shape. And getting ready to call out MJ.
You and Michael on this court, you spot him 6, game 7, who wins? On this side, I'll whoop his ass. That's it. Hands down.
Okay, last one. When MJ arrived on the scene, he was like nothing we've ever seen before. He had stardom written all over him and effortlessly made the All-Star team as a rookie. But what was supposed to be a special night for the young kid turned out to be ruined by what is now known as the infamous freeze-out. It's been said that allegedly Isaiah Thomas came up with a plan to not pass.
I love Zeke, the player, but this dude is the most bitter retired NBA player I've ever followed on social media. I had to unfollow him because everything, ever since The Last Dance came out, everything is revolved around Jordan that he comments on the post about. It's so annoying, bro. I literally had to unfollow this man because it was just annoying. You old, let it go, bro.
Jordan the ball on purpose and convinced all the other players to do the same, which seemed to have actually worked, considering Jordan only scored 7 points for the whole night. Some people say that everyone was jealous by all the attention MJ was getting, and they found him very arrogant. And others say it was because
When God
MJ
start
was
blessing
more
you,
beloved
realize
in the
who your
city of
haters is.
Chicago
They
than
start
Isaiah
coming out.
was, who is a Chicago native. Either way, they did not want Jordan to be the star of the All-Star game. And it looked like Jordan took it personal, because just 2 nights later, the Chicago Bulls' very first opponent after the All-Star break was the Detroit Pistons, and Michael absolutely went off, putting up 49 points, 15 rebounds, and 5 assists. And from there on out, Michael played possessed whenever he faced Detroit, forming a rivalry. But Jordan and the Bulls kept coming up short in the playoffs. They just couldn't seem to get past the Pistons until finally, in 1991, they swept them, causing Isaiah and the rest of the team to walk off without shaking hands. And MJ took that as a slap to the face. And a few months later, Isaiah would learn to regret.
All of y'all who be complaining about him in the USA team and not wanting him on there and him complaining because they didn't shake hands. I think the same way Michael Jordan think. If you don't shake my hand, you a sore loser. Because at the end of the day, regardless, if I win, lose, I get blown out, I'm still shaking your hand. I'm going to tell you good luck. I'm going to tell you how good of a player you are, what you did good in the game and everything. Like, as much as that hurt when I lose, I don't like losing, bro. Like, you can ask my teammates in high school. I used to literally cuss them out because they used to laugh about losing, and like, I never lost in middle school. So that's just foreign to me. I don't like losing, bro. I don't. It's not. No. Like, I don't like it. But you can't hang on to them for so long, but that day you can. But after that day is over with, it's gone. Move on to the next one.
That decision. In the summer of 1991, the members of the USA Basketball Committee took note and remembered the unsportsmanlike move Isaiah did and decided to leave him off of the 1992 Olympic team, now known as the Dream Team. At first, many were confused about that decision, but then it all started to make sense. Because it was rumored that Michael orchestrated the whole thing by saying that he would only play on the team if Isaiah was not on the team, getting some sweet revenge with his own little freeze-out. Alright guys, I know there are several more Michael Jordan revenge stories out there, but this is where I'm gonna end the video. So make sure to comment down below what your favorite one was, and don't forget to like it.
Okay, I'm gonna stop right there because he's just talking at this point, and that's a perfect way to have it at the end of the video. But like I said, Michael 1, 2, Kobe, 3, LeBron. Other than that, you can put whoever else you want on the Mount Rushmore, but they're my top 3, hands down. I'm hoping I can get KD at number 4 soon, when it's almost his time to get up on out of here. But that'll be my top 4. If KD could win, he got to give me 2 more rings in Brooklyn, and I'll throw him at number 4. But other than that, that's going to do it for the video. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new. Everything you need to know will be in the description box below. I'll leave Cosgrove's Productions channel link in the description box below if you want to go check out some other stuff he got on the channel. I'm messing up the outro too now, but other than that, I'll see y'all next time, man. I'm getting hot up in the room, man.